The following is a true story. It contains discussions of damaged timepieces. Viewer discretion is advised. On April 29th, 2025, my Rolex GMT Master 116710 BLNR, aka the Batman, it broke. I picked it up in the morning and unscrewed the crown to set and wind the watch. Within a second of winding the watch, I heard a pop. After that, as I tried to wind the watch, there was almost no resistance, none of the resistance there was before the pop. The mainspring, that was my first thought. Actually, that was my second thought. My first thought was actually, fuck everything. My life is ruined. I'll never recover from this. But mostly the mainspring. I've had this Batman since September 2016, so almost 9 years. It was new from an authorized dealer, and it's probably been my most worn watch since then. It also ran great the entire time, but nothing lasts forever, even cold November rain. When your watch needs to be repaired, and it will need to be repaired, there are a few options. There are many watchmakers and small shops who service and repair watches. These are mostly unauthorized repair people. If these folks have good reviews, they can be an awesome option. Often they are the people who can repair vintage watches, and in a lot of cases they are less expensive than authorized repair people. But you won't get a manufacturer's warranty from a non-authorized watchmaker. With Rolex, for example, when they service or fix a watch that's out of warranty, like my GMT, they give you a 2-year warranty when the watch is complete. So I took my watch to the place where it was purchased, Ben Bridge Jewelers. I figured they could help me send the watch to the Rolex Service Center in Dallas, Texas. But I learned something interesting when I got to Ben Bridge. Rolex has been authorizing large dealers to service Rolex watches. Ben Bridge has around 35 stores, and I guess that's big enough, so Ben Bridge now has a Rolex Service Center in Seattle, which is pretty close to me in Portland. And because it's an authorized Rolex Service Center, all the watchmakers are trained by Rolex, they use Rolex components, and every watch is returned to the customer with a 2-year warranty, not from a jeweler, but from Rolex. I was told a few things about the repair before it began. 1, it could cost up to $1,100. 2, it would include the repair and a full service, oils, pressure testing, regulating the triple Lindy, all that. 3, it would take about 16 weeks. 4, if I didn't say otherwise, the watch would be refinished. But I said otherwise. I asked the watch not to be refinished, no polishing, no brushing. It's a hot topic amongst watch collectors, and by hot I mean it's really important to people in an unhealthy way. Most collectors do not want their watches refinished. Every time you polish or brush a watch, you're removing metal from the case and bracelet. You're actually thinning the watch out. And maybe more importantly to some people, you're changing the original shape of the watch. Now, there are some cool refinishing options where they actually add metal to the case and then brush or polish. This is called laser welding or laser deposition welding. It's very neat stuff. A skilled watchmaker or metalworker can basically get a watch back to its original look and dimensions and mass and all that. But my Rolex didn't need that, and I'm not even sure that Rolex does that at their service centers. So I said no refinishing, and I kind of just hoped the service center would respect my wishes. But honestly, I was a little curious to see what would happen if they did refinish the watch. So the people at Ben Bridge took my watch, and I said goodbye for now. Many tears were shed. I got the impression that the staff at the jewelry store had never seen a customer rip their shirt open in the throes of mourning. I'm not the weird one, they're the weird ones. They are. 9 weeks later, on July 2nd, I got a call. Your watch is back and ready to be picked up. After only 9 weeks, our long national nightmare was over. Or was it? They brought the Batman out on a tray, and yes, it was running, and no, it had not been refinished, and everything was awesome, mission accomplished. But when I wound the watch, I could not get the crown to screw down all the way to the case. It wouldn't screw down more than even a quarter turn, and trust me, normally I can screw with the best of them. I told the sales associate that the crown was sticking out too far, and we even compared it to a few other Rolex sport watches in the store, and yes indeed, there was something wrong. Likely the crown tube had not been clipped or trimmed properly, so back it went, back to Seattle, back to the service center. This sucked. This was not fun, but this happens. Stuff like this happens with mechanical watch servicing a lot, in fact. I got quite a few messages on Instagram about people's negative experiences with authorized Rolex servicing. People have some horror stories. Horror in the context of luxury goods. It is important to remember how unimportant this stuff really is, please. Unimportant and common mechanical watches are amazing, and they're just awful. They are delicate and expensive, and they're gonna break and they're gonna need servicing. Some of the very same things that make mechanical watches cool make them a pain in the ass. 2 weeks later, on July 18, my watch was back in Portland and was ready once again to be picked up. This time, it was just right. It was running well, the crown worked like it was supposed to, and it was not refinished. Total success. The total time it took was 11 weeks, and the total cost was $850, which is the same cost as just a full service for a Rolex GMT. My guess is that the mainspring is usually replaced or repaired with a full service, so there were no additional parts that were needed. Except I know that there was one. See, nobody else knows this, but since 2016, my Batman has had a unique hallmark. Besides the serial number, there was one way to identify my watch. On the hour hand, there was always this dark spot on the lume. Maybe the lume was thin there, or maybe it was actually something dark on the lume. I thought about having it replaced while it was still under warranty, but I kinda liked having a harmless imperfection on my watch. It was one that no one else noticed. Except someone actually did notice, someone at the Rolex Service Center in Seattle, and when I got my watch back, it was clear to me that the hour hand had been replaced. So I'll miss that little birthmark, but it was cool to see that someone noticed it and decided to fix it. And that's my saga. So, what did we learn? 1. Watches be breaking. You can't stop a watch from breaking, even a Rolex. Sorry. 2. When your watch comes back from a service, check it. Don't assume it was done correctly. Watchmakers are human, and they probably have a lot of pressure to work quickly, and they might miss something. And 3. You better own more than one watch, because if not, what are you gonna do when you have to send one to get repaired? Are you just gonna not wear a watch? Like an animal? Like a wild animal? Let my struggle be a lesson to y'all. Sure, I'm out $850, but repairs, they're just part of collecting. And maybe the real repair was the video I got to make along the way.